Welcome to Screen Bytes, a podcast about gaming, technology, TV and movies. We're watching the Fallout TV series, episode by episode. Each episode will have spoilers for its relevant episode number. There will be no spoilers for later episodes. So, you've seen the first episode of the Fallout TV show. Do you want to tell me how disappointed you are in it?
Well, I wouldn't... No, actually, I'm not actually disappointed. I think I got what I said originally in my preview show, where I didn't get, like, a few episodes in the vault, but majority of the episode, because it's like an hour, it was like an hour and 10 minutes, the length of the first episode. So you got about a good 40 minutes in the vault. We got the pre, so the first part of it was the explosion, the nukes going off.
Yep.
Basically just setting the scenes of what the show is all about, which is pretty identical to like how Fallout 4 started. So I didn't have a problem with that. And then it had the first character that was noteworthy was it Buck McCoy, the cowboy?
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know the names. They're called.
I swear they were saying that he was Buck McCoy.
Yeah, he's some kind of famous guy. He goes around, does things.
But that's a real person. That's a real person in life. I swear.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a real guy.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So that's a guy who played like a cowboy in TV's shows back in.
As in an actor or an actual cowboy?
An actual person named Buck McCoy. Who?
Yeah, but was Buck McCoy, was he an actor who played cowboys, or was he actually a cowboy?
No. He was an actor who played cowboys back in the 50s.
Yeah, okay. Yep, so obviously this guy, he in the show, he's obviously doing like birthday parties and that kind of stuff. I don't know, around the other acting work that he does, I guess, because he hasn't done any for a while. Because that's a situation that we kind of see him in at this point. Doesn't seem terribly happy though, did he?
No.
He was already a bit grumpy.
He was on about the cloud. Well, there was some talk on the TV about.
Well, when they were doing the photos, they were trying to get him to do the thumbs up, and he didn't want to do the thumbs up. And then obviously he was talking to that girl, and then we find out it's because the thumbs up isn't that's a good thing. It's he's using it to check out the size of the mushroom cloud. Which also I read somewhere that's what supposedly the Fallout boy is doing. He's not giving a thumbs up. He's checking. You can see he's squinting with one eye, and he's using his thumb to check the size of the Fallout cloud.
Yeah, so I never knew that. I thought he was always giving the thumbs up to you, which is interesting.
No, it's not giving the thumbs up to say it's all okay. It's the world has gone to shit, and we're seeing how bad it is. So
yeah, and then his daughter, I don't know like if that's kind of like relevant in terms of the story, but it might be. But that's like going ahead. But okay, let's talk about the next scene. So the next scene was quite interesting. We find ourselves in the vault, and they are having a pre-arranged marriage, a pre-arranged wedding with two people from two different vaults, which I find interesting. But it kind of is condescending of what the like in the games they would probably never do that. They would never open any vault door or any.
Well, they didn't open a vault door. So the way it seemed is that there's two vaults that were next door to each other.
Exactly.
And what they were doing is the vault door that they opened was the one between the two vaults. And it seemed to be something like these vaults were very aware about inbreeding and avoiding inbreeding. And they were very open about talking about how that's a bad thing. And so what they were doing is that they would, like, her dad came from Vault 31. She was supposedly marrying someone from Vault 32. So I don't know how many vaults were all connected together. Maybe it's just the three of them. Maybe there's more. But to keep the genetic pool diverse, they are moving people amongst the vaults to kind of keep humanity good. It's actually quite funny because it's like, so you've had your pre-world bit, which felt very much like the beginning of Fallout 4, and this little bit, in some sense, felt very much like Fallout 3.
Exactly, yeah.
Because she basically went through special, but she didn't use those words. You know, she's talking about her fighting, her agility, her intelligence, her charisma. She was part of a gang. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
She was part of this. Now it was a friendly gang. It was the women's lug nuts or something like that, where the pipes or something, where they kind of, I don't know what they're doing, but there was some kind of brief mention there, and I was like, oh, okay, well, there's your Vault Rats or whatever they're called in Fallout 3. Yeah, it's very. It was so colourful. Just so obnoxiously colourful compared to Fallout 3, and even because obviously we didn't spend much time in the vault in Fallout 4, which I know does have a lot of colour in it. But my experience of Fallout vaults is very. I mean, Vault 101 isn't a bad vault, to be honest, in the grand scheme of vaults, but it's still very dark and grimy, and whereas this, it's just bright, the colours pop, and they know that they're like when they're in that field that it's just a projector, but it's just so bright and everything. But yeah, what did you think of what did you think about the vault itself?
It kind of reminded me of Fallout 4, but the openness in terms of the hall where the actual ceremony was going to be.
Yeah.
I thought, there's no way they're going to have something like that. I don't know. It just, we never saw that in the games. It was all very tight.
Yeah, the one thing, and I know they're not going to go into it within the TV show, especially not in the first episode, but what we do know about Vault Tech is that all of the vaults were an experiment, and I wonder what these vaults, what their experiment was, because they, you know, like her brother went into the one next door, and there was this like vast field of crops that had obviously stopped growing. And it was like farm buildings inside the vault. So it might be that these vaults maybe they were there to kind of help with crops and regrow crops up on the surface at something. So maybe they didn't have an actual experiment going, but they had a role to play in not recolonizing, but reintroducing all of the species of food. I think there's another vault, isn't there, that is in one of the games that is a little bit similar, but just with plants, not with crops, but you go in there and it's like all overgrown because the plants have kind of escaped. I can't remember what game it is or which vault it is, but I think that's probably a little bit similar.
I think that's New Vegas, and they're doing some sort of experiments, and it got overgrown. Yeah, and the plants started attacking the vault dweller. But
so it's quite funny. So in the last episode where we were talking about Fallout, and I was saying, it like when she leaves the vault, it looks like she kills someone, and you can see she doesn't kill someone. That guy. Do you remember that guy who she kind of tranquilizes in the trailer? He's there on the floor, and you can see him. And they don't say either way what she's done, but it's like. The insinuation there is like she might have like killed someone or knocked him out or something like that to leave the vault, but it's not that bad. She just tranked him to kind of stop him from following her. What do you think about what happened in the vault? How it all turned?
I thought it was quite interesting, quite different in terms of like because it was entering new territory of having a wedding, and then I was thinking, When we find out that these people are actually raiders and they're not actually the vault people, I thought that was interesting. But I was thinking, like, why they want to expose themselves as raiders? Why don't they just dispose of the bodies and pretend that they are Vault 21 and be like, just carry on, and like you're getting healthcare, you've got clean water, you possibly can make your own food. Why would you want to?
I imagine. Obviously, we don't know yet.
There's a grander thing. Yeah, there is a grander story to it.
There's a grander story to it, but I think what might have happened is they went into the vault and they did try and keep the vault going, but they just don't have the skill to grow crops. So they eventually ran out of food.
Well, I don't know, because that guy...
And then they were talking to the guy, and then this thing come up that happens every so often, and they kind of had to, like, if they had refused to do something, then the other vault might have come in and been like, well, hey, what's going on? So they probably would have been found out at some point anyway. And instead of maybe the vaults are obviously quite, I don't think the vaults are going to, like, if they knew there were raiders in the next vault over, they're not going to go through and, you know, try and kick them out or anything, because they know that they're not going to stand a chance with them. But what they could do is completely block the vault off. They probably have some kind of way of disabling the vault door from their side. And the raiders are like, right, we've run out of food, good clean food, good water and everything. We need to make sure we can get inside their vault before they block us out. So they're like, okay, we've responded to his messages. Oh no, the old overseers died. Oh, what a shame. There was a blight on the crops. They've all died. When in actual fact, they just died suicide because they don't know how to look after them. And then, oh, what's this? That we've been invited to a wedding and we've got to give someone to be married. This is a great opportunity because there's going to be a ceremony and we can all go in there, sneak in, and then kill them all.
But they didn't, though, did they? They didn't. They got in and they did exactly that. They killed a lot of people, but then they held a bunch of them hostage and then kidnapped the dad, the overseer.
Yeah.
And then let those people live. Which was kind of weird.
Yeah, I suppose. And actually, that's the other thing, because she did say something, didn't she? She was like, oh, you look like your mother.
Yeah, to the door, yeah.
So she obviously knows who her mum is, or she knows who her dad is. Is it going to be another one of those things where it's like the Fallout 3, when we're talking about the parents of the Fallout 3, where they weren't actually Vault Dwellers originally, and it's like people who come into the Vault or something afterwards?
Well, yeah, exactly, because I was thinking that lady might be the great granddaughter of the lady that we see in the first scene. You know what I mean? Maybe.
Yeah, no, I know who you mean. Possibly.
The daughter of the cowboy.
She's not ghoulified, so it can't be her. So
well, no, of course it's like 200 years after.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. It can't be the same. It can't be the same lady because she's not ghoulified, and I don't think.
That's true, actually. Yeah, you're right.
I don't think regular raiders are going to have infinite aging. So it's either got to be a descendant or part of the same. If it's related, it's got to be a descendant. It can't be the same lady.
But yeah, I think also the fact that I know that they were under like a skeleton kind of crew in terms of the vault, but it was so easy trying to get out of the vault as well. She didn't really have to do anything. She was just like, yeah, that guy's gone over there, so I'm just going to go this way and press a few buttons and that's it, I'm out. Surely you have security still, someone to stop them from getting out so easily.
Well,
I was expecting her to take someone out, like just say, oh.
From the trailer, it does look like she took someone out to leave, and she was leaving on bad terms. But I don't get the feeling that she was leaving the vault never to return. And I think if she returns, she will be allowed back in. It's not like she's been exiled.
Oh yeah, of course.
She hasn't left because she's defying everyone. Like the people who were telling her not to go were genuinely caring for her. So like I think in Fallout 3, when you get to the vault and you leave, you get confronted at that point as well. But the people who come to confront you, they no longer care for your safety. Like they're almost there to like stop you, but so you don't live or whatever. Like it's a bit more violent in a sense. I can't remember exactly, but it's not the same situation with this. So this is
they're worried about if you open the vault, let's say, there could be a bunch of bandits outside.
Yes, yeah, they're worried about security. Yeah.
So they're like, no, just leave the vault door alone, remain closed. That's the rules.
Yeah, it's just the thing is, they're not expecting her to have done this. So she has managed to take them by surprise, and it's not a security concern that they had of someone to leave, especially at that time when they're trying to rebuild from everyone is busy removing dead bodies and repainting and putting up propaganda. It's not on their mind. I mean, there was no security guards like there was in Fallout 3's vault, was there? I don't remember seeing anyone doing security other than the vault dwellers themselves. So,
but that's why. Well, we didn't really see it before the attack, so that's why I was thinking. Like, fair enough. Like, they just had a major attack. They haven't. There's not a lot of people because they had a lot of. They had everyone come to the center.
Yeah, exactly.
Of the vault on the field to have a meeting, and it wasn't a lot of people, so I'm probably expecting maybe just one person, like that old guy that was like taking like a bin or something. I was kind of just expecting him just to stand by the vault door and say, hey, what do you think you're doing? And she's like, oh, I'm not doing it. And then she could give him the tranquilizer dart, but it doesn't really matter. That's just nitpicking. I suppose it kind of felt like you said earlier, it kind of felt like a mixture between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, the way things have started. Like, yeah,
it was a good amount of showing the vault for the people who want to see the vault, and it also balanced well for people who've never played the games, and this is their first Fallout experience. So it was a good introduction to the whole thing. Like, here's what it's like living in a vault. You can kind of see how they're slightly indoctrinated and naive to be fully flying the flag for their vault. You know, it's like they're like, oh, Vault 33 is the best place in the world to live, and you're talking about recolonizing America, and they don't know what's out on the surface. They don't realize there's actually genuinely a whole world out there with people already living and breathing and working and everything. Everyone inside of vaults genuinely think they are the best of humanity at that given time. So they do have this naivety within them, and you can see that within her as she's going through how clever she is, how good she is at firing a gun, which isn't very. You know, it's like they have had enough time to show all of that before she does go and leave the vault.
I suppose the next part of it is we meet a new character who is like an apprentice or a trainee for the Brotherhood of Steel, which I thought was some good scenes.
It was actually quite interesting seeing the training ground.
Yeah, but before that, I was thinking, like, when we first see that, like, him getting punched and stuff, I was like, is this before the explosions or after? But then you quickly realize when they start talking about, like, Brotherhood of Steel, I'm like, oh, okay, this is after. And then they show, like, the power armor, people wearing the power armors and stuff.
What do you think of the power armor? It's the Fallout 4 power armor.
Kind of did look CGI.
Oh, I don't care if it looks CGI or not, but it's the Fallout 4 power armor. The big thuddy-duddy ones you don't like.
Yeah, it's interesting because
it's certainly imposing. I mean, in that particular scene, that interrogation scene, when it was lurking around behind him while he's being questioned over that particular thing, the suit itself is quite imposing at that size. I've seen a lot of stuff recently. I've been watching a lot of Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas clips.
Right.
Looking at those power armors, they're just so skinny. And they do have some they do have footsteps when they move around. But yeah, I'm actually of the opinion that the Fallout 4 power armor, in terms of looks and how it works, is better. I'm not talking about the way they put the power cores. I'm just saying in terms of the way it looks.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Okay.
It looks like someone is inside a suit because they can't. In Fallout 4, as they get in, you can see they're like on stilts. Their whole frame is extended and everything, and that just makes a more imposing stature, which is probably what the American army, when they were building the power suits originally before the war, is what they wanted when they were going out to fight. So I think it works. It works a lot better than the Fallout 3 skinny suits, I think.
Yeah, it definitely does in terms of a meaningful presence, like you say, like that he was getting questioned because the person, his friend, got promoted ahead of him, and some of them said that it was him who like messed up that guy's foot by doing something to his shoe. And then, it was quite interesting because, in those situations when people are questioning you and you're like, should I say something? Should I not say something? It's like, have you got anything to say? You kind of feel like, what would I be like in that situation? Would I say stuff? Would I not say stuff? So
obviously what we've just seen is this guy and his friend have been training together, and I don't think it's the Pridwin, but the West Coast version of the Pridwin has just arrived with all the bigwigs, and they've just promoted a whole load of scribes up to be squires, I think. And his friend was promoted over him, and this guy was very upset. You see him breaking the toilet, and then the next scene, they wake up the next day. Guy puts his boots on, and there's a razor blade in that kind of slashes his foot and takes him out of the running. Do you think it was this guy who did it? Do you think it was Maximus, I think his name is?
That's the thing. We don't really know. He said he didn't do it.
Was he lying?
Well, the guy himself who's had this done to his foot said, I don't think it was you.
You wouldn't hurt a fly.
I told him that you wouldn't do this kind of action, that kind of person. But I think he did do it, but who knows if we'll find out or not. Maybe it's just not that important.
I think I don't know. It's like it's I don't know if it's important that we would ever find out. Well, we might not find out definitively, but I wonder if something is something about his character, whether he would do it or not.
Exactly.
So there might be
character.
There might be something that happens later on where he has done it, and you think, okay, he clearly did do the razor blade in the foot, or okay, it clearly wasn't him who did the razor. It was clearly one of the other guys who was a bit, because there seemed to be cliques within the Brotherhood of Steel. There were all these jocks. There were these sort of like more nerdy people, and that kind of thing. So, and this guy is definitely. He doesn't seem to be the best in the class. Like, he doesn't know the difference between a motor and a circuit or whatever, a rotary and a motor or something. And he wasn't winning that fight either. He was definitely losing, wasn't he? But when he was branded by his knight, you could see, like, yes, he was in pain, but he could bear it. He could bear that pain. So he like, his resolve is for the Brotherhood. So it's interesting. He's not the best, but he's got something of what it takes. And it's really funny because, like, when he was running out to the vertibird, the knight jumped on it and then told the vertibird to lift off, and the guy wasn't even on it yet, and he nearly missed the vertibird. That would have been hilarious.
Yeah. I was just thinking about the scene where he's like, "Tell me the truth. Why are you doing this? Why are you here? Why are you at the Brotherhood still?" And to be fair, like, he gave a straight answer. He's like, "I'm here because I wanna." He
said he wants to
sort of,
hurt
in a
the
way,
people
get
that hurt
like
him.
revenge or vengeance against.
Because he was in a fridge. Don't know why he was in a fridge. But
exactly.
He was in a
Yeah.
fridge. And I guess that's something we're going to get flashbacks from his childhood and learn about what happened to him. Do you think it was the same raider group that attacked the vault?
Potentially, it could be. It could be the same raider group. The thing is with the Brotherhood of Steel, and they said it in the episode, is that their first mission is to gather information, historical documents, anything that's pre-war that they can use to understand the history of mankind. So even if he has a vengeance, he has to kind of make a decision: do I stick to the Brotherhood of Steel and what they believe, or go on my own personal beliefs? So we have to wait and see on that. I suppose we should talk about the next character, the Ghoul, which I found quite odd. Like, we find three people who have their own little mission or a bounty that they want to collect, and they're thinking that they can hire this Ghoul who is dead, and he's on like a drip, and he's underground, buried underground, and they have to dig him up to awaken him, which I thought was just complete nonsense and complete...
No, it's not. That's lore accurate. He's a ghoul, he's underground, but ghouls still need to eat. So he was having nutrients piped down to him.
Yeah, but why... I don't understand, in a story, why have him underground on a drip?
Because he's dangerous.
Why don't they just have...
And they don't want him out? I don't know.
Well... Yeah,
there might have been some crime boss that essentially put him underground to keep him as a pet or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, they said that someone did this to him. I forgot the name, but someone actually put him underground, and then they dig him up every few years when they need his help or something, and then they put him back in the ground again. But
this time he didn't seem to want to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
But it seems to be the target that they've got is the same target that the Brotherhood of Steel have. You can almost guarantee that at least the Brotherhood of Steel guy, Maximus, and this guy, they're going to meet up at some point.
Yeah, because they're looking for this picture of this person. So I wonder how the lady's going to... what's she going to do?
Well,
in terms of how they...
I haven't watched any more of the trailers, and I've not watched anything else, but you know the guy who is the target they're after?
Yeah.
He's got a dog, and the Vault Dweller always finds a dog. So I wonder if in the next episode, she's going to find dog meat, and dog meat is going to lead her to the other two, or to the guy that the other two are trying to get, and then there's going to be some kind of thing happening. I don't know.
Yeah, that could probably... That's probably likely,
and that's not
because like you say,
that's just looking at what's happened in the games. Like, literally, the first thing that happens when you leave the vault, within 10 minutes, you have found dog meat. So I reckon, given that we've already seen that there's going to be a dog there, the only new information is that the dog belongs to this guy, the target. So
I wonder where he's from though. Like,
what
he could be part of like a different faction, like the Enclave or something.
No, he is the Enclave.
Scientist.
They said he was the Enclave. He looks a little bit like Dr. Zimmer. Was he? No, he's Institute scientist, not Enclave, isn't he? But he kind of had that sort of like German bald head. No, not Nazi, but sort of in a sense that also thinking of Captain America and that guy, the German scientist who became the AI. And it's that kind of stereotypical German, bald head, glasses, I'm very clever, that kind of thing that I think Dr. Zimmer was kind of in the same vein of. So
the only question I would have though, do you feel, how many episodes are there? 6 episodes?
8.
Okay, there's 8 episodes, but do you feel that there's too many characters already introduced in this show.
No.
And do you feel that are they all going to get enough screen time?
Yes. Because, actually, you were talking earlier about how it took 40 minutes to leave the vault, but it didn't. It took 20 minutes because...
I don't know about that.
But what I mean is, in that 40 minutes, we had 2 scenes with the vault, 2 scenes with the Brotherhood of Steel, plus the opening scene. So if we took just the Lucy scenes from the first episode, that might equal about 25, 30 minutes. And then when you add in the opening scene, the Brotherhood of Steel scenes, and then the meeting of the Ghoul, that makes up the other 30 minutes. I've just realised it was longer than an hour. But you know what I mean? It's like it didn't take 75% of this episode to leave the vault because we had other scenes, and it would have been a lot shorter if we didn't meet the Brotherhood of Steel. Or it would have felt a lot longer. If we spent the entire hour within the vault, I think I might have lost interest, if I'm honest. Something would have needed to have happened. But that's that's the benefit of the TV show, is that you don't have to stay with the main character. You can have these interweaving storylines. Now, as long as there's not, 3 storylines is enough. I suspect there might be, so we're going to get the 3 main storylines. Maybe there'll be 1 or 2 sort of like B or C storylines per episode, or every, for 2 or 3 episodes. So as long as we don't end up with it being like 8 storylines, then it could be quite a good show. You're looking at about 10 to 20 minutes per character per episode, depending on how they weight each episode. And hopefully some episodes will have more of one character and less of another. So I think next episode we'll get a lot more of Lucy seeing the world for the first time, but maybe episode 3 we'll go back to the Ghoul and what he's up to. You did catch the fact that the Ghoul is the cowboy at the beginning?
Yeah,
he's the same guy. So which
is kind of weird because at the beginning he's like a polite, well-spoken guy, but
he wasn't polite.
Well, he didn't talk.
No, he wasn't. When they were asking him to, he was good to the children, but to the adults he wasn't very polite. Like when they were asking him for the pictures, he wasn't overly he didn't like that. He was happy to do the tricks and to take pictures with the kids, but with the parents he wasn't so interested.
Yeah.
You see he was a little bit grumpy, and then when he was a Ghoul he was completely grumpy. Are you upset about the voice?
Oh yeah, I was going to mention that. Yeah, I was a little bit. I think they should have had it somewhere.
The thing is, it's difficult it's one thing to do that Ghoul voice within a studio when you're doing voice acting. If you're acting in person, to do that voice, which is quite demanding, I don't think they'd have been able to film. They might have. I wonder if we'll find out. They might have tried to do the full voice.
He tried though.
But it would be so grating. They'd have to take so many breaks for him and for his vocal cords to rest that it just probably wasn't worth doing that voice the whole time. Yeah,
he did try though. You can tell it was a bit more gruffier than it was in the first few minutes where we see him before the explosions. So he did try, it was more of a gruffy, it wasn't completely...
Yeah, have you done, in Fallout 4, have you done all the side missions, or did you just do the main story?
Well, the thing is, it's so big, Fallout 4, I hopefully have done all of them, yeah.
Did you do the Nick Valentine ones where you have to go meet Skinny Malone, I think it is? So Skinny Malone is a character in Fallout 4. He is a pre-war Ghoul. You have to go and kill him, but he doesn't lose his vocal cords. As a Ghoul, he sounds like the same character post-Ghoulification as he did pre-Ghoulification.
Okay.
And there is one other character in the Fallout universe who doesn't get that Ghoul voice. I can't remember who it is, and I can't remember what game. But it's not impossible for a Ghoul to not lose their vocal cords. I don't know if it's related to pre-Ghouls or post-Ghouls or whatever, but it's not out of the realm of possibility for him to have kept his voice.
I remember in Fallout New Vegas there was a human who spoke like a Ghoul and thought he was a Ghoul, but then at the end of it, you as a character, you're not a Ghoul, you're a human. You had to kind of convince him that he's not a Ghoul and he should actually join his people and not the Ghoul people. But it's up to you as a character, what you want to say to him. It's you could join the Ghouls, But the other thing I was a bit disappointed with was the fact that we didn't get the famous quote.
Oh, yeah, what? Oh, from the TV?
At the start. At the start of the games, war never changes. We should have got that.
I think it is in the TV series, but I think it's in the trailer that you've refused to watch.
I'm not on about the trailer.
No. But
That's
what I mean, yes, but I know you're saying that. But some directors view the trailer as part of the experience of watching the TV show or the film. You can have your opinion. Some directors view the trailers as part of the experience. And I'm pretty sure in one of the trailers, that line is in one of the trailers. So from the director's point of view, he's used that line. Wasn't it in the one that was shown at a conference to like 400 people and it wasn't shown on the internet for like 2 more months? But they've in the context.
I don't know. I tried to steer away from it.
I know you have, but in the context of the TV series as a whole, if you view all of the media surrounding it, I do believe that phrase and that voice actor, has been used. So maybe what you could do is once you've watched all 8 episodes, you go back and look at the trailers and you can see how they showed the different bits. Because I think it was in the first trailer where they didn't show any story. And I think it was basically like the Fallout TV teaser, as opposed to the one where they kind of showed the characters that I was able to refer to the last episode and told you that's how I knew there was 3 characters and you got annoyed at me. But the one before that, I think that's where they used that kind of TV intro. So it does exist in this sort of universe, but not in the TV show itself.
Well, not yet. Who knows? It could be right at the end.
I don't know. It wouldn't make sense there. It would have made sense at the beginning because in the first 2 minutes of the TV show, it said the end, didn't it? So like that's where it would have gone if it was going to be within a TV show, unless they got something big planned at the end, maybe.
I was like, because I was hoping it was in there because I would have been like, to someone who's not played the games, would be like, how cool is this? Like you've just had this amazing sequence introduction to the like the lore of Fallout, seeing the nukes go off, and then you should have had him like it go completely blank, and then like if it says the end, then someone should have said war never changes, and then that was it. Just continue on. Maybe they were thinking maybe
Maximus will say it as part of the Brotherhood of Steel.
Yeah, but maybe they were thinking like if we have that in there, maybe it just doesn't make any sense. Like people who have not played the games, and they did do quite a bit of fan service. They had the robot in there.
Yeah, I was going to say there's a lot of the detail coming from the video games. There is so much detail that is functionally correct. Like obviously they've had to change some bits. So like you were talking about drugs and medical stuff. So we had the scene with the stim pack, and that worked almost like it struck a good balance between how it works in the video game versus how it would actually work in real life. So she used the stim pack on her. That helped her do what she needed to do for the next half an hour, and then afterwards she went back and she stabled her stomach back together properly. You know, that is a good balance between the detail within the game and how it is in real life. A lot of the stuff in the vault, it looked so familiar, like the buttons for the doors, like even in her apartment, like her little kitchenette area, it felt like the furniture in Fallout 4 houses. It was really good. And also the way she went into, one thing you'd be happy about, someone got shot and their head exploded like it does in the game.
Why would I be happy about that?
Well, because it shows that they're showing sex, nudity, and gore. So it's got that element to it. We saw a lot of injury detail in terms of like blades and when she whacked that guy in the face with a broken glass pitcher. People don't die off screen. We see people getting slashed and shot, and some guy got shot through the head, and then the guy still kept the body in front of him and shot 2 other people behind him. So it's like this is definitely a 15 or an 18. So they're not shying away from those elements. So I think you're gonna and someone used Jet within the TV show as well. Did you see that? It was it was with her brother or her cousin. It was one of those two. And yeah,
I felt like the fighting though, like some of the fighting, it wasn't completely fast paced. Like at some points, it kind of like felt to me like it slowed down a little bit.
Bear in mind, so bear in mind that was a massive fight scene with literally 20, 30 people involved. So that might be different. That particular fight scene might be different. Also, the whole scene might have been slightly slowed down, as if she was experiencing it in a slightly slowed down manner, like she had an effect to her.
Well, I was thinking it kind of resembles like this when you use the stats system in the game.
Oh,
It just kind of,
okay.
Yeah, it kind of like maybe like Fallout 4 when things are like they're not completely paused, but they are still going, but it's like at a slower pace.
Okay, so actually that's a good point. So the VAT system is the only thing we have yet to see, I think, really. It will be interesting how they implement that in the game. It will be interesting how they implement that in the TV show, if they do at all.
Well, that's the thing. When I was watching the fight scene, I was like, it is a little bit slower. So I was thinking, are they trying to resemble that?
But they didn't.
In the
but
show.
If they didn't make it obvious that was because of that. And that was it.
Yeah.
Was it just her, or was it everyone? I suppose everyone in the vault would be able to use it, wouldn't they? Actually, because they've all got Pit Boys.
It wasn't exactly like dead on. Like, okay, you can pick your like your body parts, but all I can say is like it was a little bit more slower than an actual other TV show or movie fight scene.
I think it might have been slightly slowed down because it was almost a dreamlike state, as in, oh my goodness, I cannot believe this is happening. What's going on? I think that's what that might be. I think other fight scenes that might be a bit more personal, like 1-to-1 out in the real world, might be a bit more, full speed, unless they bring the VATs in. I don't know.
But our main character is out of the vault now. So yeah, hopefully we can see. Well, we eventually we're going to be catching up with this doctor guy, or this person from the Enclave. But it'll be interesting to see other characters they get introduced to. But overall, I think I was quite happy. I wasn't disappointed. I think they gave me what I kind of wanted, like a little bit of space within the vault. It wasn't as much as I want, but at least, yeah, they were like showing us, like you say, like lots of detail, and they were showing like their lifestyle and the way they've been living. And yeah, like the nuke stuff at the start, that doesn't have to be very long, and that was just completely spot on.
It's enough to show what the world was like, how people were living, and how the world ended up in the place it is. The little bits on the radio, the little bits on the TV, the cowboy and his daughter, or that little girl talking at the beginning, and then it happening almost immediately. Like, it's enough for people who've never played any of the games to just get the hang of things and kind of start to understand. And actually, they did do sort of things. So, like, when she left the vault, like, they had, like, petrified bodies outside the vault. And I don't think we've seen that in the games. They're either ghoulified or bones. We've never really seen, like, petrified bodies before. So they will do some things that haven't appeared in the games, or things that might appear in Fallout 5 eventually. They've stuck close enough to the Fallout that we know that I think they've done a good job. And I think this is the benefit of having Bethesda and Todd Howard kind of be involved in it at pretty much every stage. Like, it does feel like it's part of the universe and not just some weird add-on that you don't have to watch.
Yeah, looking at you, Last of Us.
Thank you for listening to this episode. We will be back with another episode looking at the Fallout TV series.